Hi, Year 11. Okay, you have no idea how excited I am to finally be doing this. I have tried everything today. It's just been the worst. I've tried to Zoom, it won't open. I've tried to record my own videos, they won't work. They literally just, they record while I'm speaking. So I'm recording like a 10-minute video and then it just like won't save because apparently my laptop is full, even though I've spent the half the day trying to delete everything. Anyway, doesn't matter. Hopefully this type of screen recording works because it uploads to YouTube instead of to my computer, so hopefully it won't take storage. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this is just a screen record only, but let's go. So section 3 evaluation. So the first part of section 3 is 3.1, which is record and application of evaluation procedures throughout the project. So that means ongoing evaluation. So you don't actually have to do anything here. All you have to say is that, yeah, I've evaluated my whole project throughout all of it. There's evaluations everywhere. They're underneath my tables in section 1. They are underneath my collages, and they're with the E and PME is an evaluation, and my mind maps are evaluated, and all my drawings are evaluated, and all my experiments and tests are evaluated, and they're called application of conclusion. So basically you're just saying that you've evaluated everything to ensure that you have a high quality product at the end, and this is what they look like. They're in this orange box, or in the research section they're in this thinner orange box, and they're called application of conclusion. This student here, here's her one. My evaluations are in this blue box, and they have a book little icon in the corner. So it's basically making it easy for the marker to go back and sort of flick, and you're proving to them, yeah, I've evaluated throughout the design process. Like, give me full marks for 3.1 because look, you will see a blue box with books literally on every page. There's like evaluations freaking everywhere. So that's 3.1. So I'll move on from 3.1 because that's easy. 3.2 is function and aesthetics. So the first thing you have to do for 3.2 is actually go back to your criteria to evaluate success, which you'd remember is 1.4. A lot of these students don't have numbers because for the major projects, the numbers don't actually matter to the HSC markers. So some students leave them in, some students take them out. It doesn't matter. But this is 1.4. So you can see here's her criteria to evaluate success. She's got, let's look at an aesthetic one. Aesthetic must be aesthetically pleasing, target market, colors and print. And let's look at her standard to achieve column. And for her standard to achieve for that, the finished food wrap design and product must be aesthetically pleasing to my target market. This will be achieved by incorporating all their wants and preferences into the design, including colors and prints. Okay, so that's her standard to achieve. So for 3.2, you have to actually go back to your 1.4 and find all your function and aesthetic criteria, and you need to copy and paste the standard to achieve, because remember, back at the beginning, this is the standard you were hoping to achieve when you're finished. So now that you are finished, you have to evaluate, did you actually achieve this or not? And it doesn't matter if the answer is no, because for a lot of you, COVID might have meant the answer had to be no because you actually couldn't do that bit or something like that. That's fine. Evaluation doesn't have to be overly positive. It is just genuinely a judgment. Have you achieved it or not? So let's go to her section 3. And here is her 3.2 function and aesthetics evaluation. So what she's done is she's copied and pasted, let's see the one that we just read out, aesthetics. Must be aesthetically pleasing. So she's written what she wrote in the first column of 1.4, and then she's copied and pasted as a quote her standard to achieve. The finished product must be aesthetically pleasing, target market, see by incorporating what's in it. So she's copied and pasted her standard to achieve, and here she's evaluated whether she believes she has achieved it or not, and exactly how. What is the proof? What is the evidence that that is actually done? Prove it to me. So you can see then she's got a functional one, she's copied and pasted her standard to achieve, and now she's evaluated to whether she believes she has actually achieved that standard that she set out at the beginning. And that continues on. Now, if we look at another student, here's Jasmine's one. So you can see she started with a function. That's what she wrote in her first column engaging for primary school age students. Her standard to achieve was, it is important that the program I create is engaging for primary age students and includes a variety of activities to stimulate different aspects of learning. It must also address various key learning areas. Her evaluation: I strongly believe I have achieved this standard as I thoroughly considered numerous design factors to ensure that my product is interactive, engaging, and stimulates various aspects of learning. Through interviewing an English teacher, so this is where she's providing evidence of how she knows. What's her proof that she's achieved it? What's her proof? I interviewed an English teacher. I was able to ensure that my product was not only engaging for students, but also addresses key learning areas such as nouns, adjectives, verbs, and sentence building, all of which are skills to develop in order to learning English. Additionally, through studying the Howard Gardner's learning style, so she's referencing research she's done, I was able to ensure my program included a variety of ways that students learn, such as visually, logically, and collaboratively. This is an extremely important function as incorporating numerous ways of learning, such as singing, writing, dancing, and matching images. My program will benefit all students regarding of their learning style. So she has evaluated why she believes she's achieved this, but not just her opinion. She's put some evidence of, how she knows, what research she might have done to make sure she got there in the end. Or you could reference, if someone else evaluated or commented, you can put quotes of what people said. So you can see, and then it keeps going. So these are all her functional criterias, and then she's got aesthetic criterias. The song sheet must have a form of color. The sheet must be appealing in order to engage Tanzanian students. Song sheet, the color was red, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, so that continues on. So basically that's the gist for 3.2. But what I want to show you quickly before I move on is how a few different students also kind of, I guess, spruce up this section. So 3.2 can often be easier if you first show a bit of a visual. Now, this student, and I'll just remind you again, I always show major project examples because they're always the best examples. So don't freak out if it looks so extra. So you can see with this student, Mia, she started her analysis and evaluation of function and aesthetics with actually a picture of all her elements of her design, and she's annotated it like a sort of a visual mind map with F's and A's, function and aesthetic, function and aesthetic. She's like labeled it with functional and aesthetic features. So she's proving that there's actually so many functional aesthetic features, even more so than maybe the ones I thought about back in 1.4. At the end, there were so many more functional aesthetic features that I didn't even consider back then. And she's got a key then. F means function, and A means aesthetics. So after she's labeled that, to give it a bit of a visual and a bit of a, helping the markers really see all the function and aesthetics, she's then gone ahead and done what I just said. So, function, there's the criteria. From 1.4, there's the standard to achieve. So there's the third column, that it must do this. And there's her evaluation with whether she believes she's achieved it or not. There's a function/obsolescence one, there's an aesthetics one, etc. Okay, so you're just copying and pasting your standard to achieve, and then you're evaluating whether you believe you achieved it and what is your proof or evidence to know. Now, let's show another one actually. Okay, here's Amy Munn's one. So she has started hers also with a bit of a visual. So she's, you can see that a lot of these students use these other projects as inspiration. Mia was 2018, but you can see that both Jasmine and Amy kind of have similarities in the way they've set this out. So she's put some pictures of the different clothes she's made. This was all kind of like upcycled stuff. And again, she's labeled it with functions and aesthetics, so it's a bit visual. But then she goes ahead and does what she's required to do, where she's got, that's her first column from 1.4 for an aesthetic. There's her standard to achieve. And here is her evidence of why she believes, her evaluation of why she believes she has achieved it. From research conducted in 2.3, what target market are wearing now, feedback from youth, I keep my outfit simple, da, 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 da. I was guided by target market to ensure I garments, da, 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 blah, blah, blah. I love that she's actually made a few little bits bold. It aids skim reading, it makes certain things stand out, which I think is really good as well. Now, by having pictures, which I know with COVID it's hard, but having pictures of the target market engaging in the product is also a good way to evaluate, because it proves that maybe those functional aesthetic features are achieved because you're showing how it actually is meant to look or work on or with a person. So that's another way that you're providing evidence that you've achieved those criterias. So then she's got function 1, etc. And that continues. She's kind of got hers more kind of boxy. Showing some evidence of where she went to get stuff. Yeah, so hers is a little bit visual, but she's still got the same thing, but as opposed to it being in kind of like rows like that, or like, you know, same as Jasmine in like sort of just sections like that, she's sort of boxed it. It's kind of chunky, which is fine. And she also had a social media and website to go with it, so she's done the same thing for that. Here's my website and Instagram function and aesthetic sort of annotations, and then here's my standard to achieves and evaluations of the actual 1.4 criteria for my social media and website. So yeah, I will show you another one. So you've probably all seen Olivia Statari's flag train thing that's in the sewing room. It did actually have this ball gown underneath it that she made, but that's since disappeared. I don't know. She probably took it home. I'm not sure. Now, Olivia she wanted to first actually do kind of like her own, like, I guess, overall evaluations on the product itself. So she's kind of done this front view evaluation, back view evaluation, and the banner, which is the inside of the train evaluation. So she's just added this extra page of evaluation that's not necessarily specific to anything, but it's just she just felt like she wanted to, which is fine. She had the pages available to do that. And then she's gone and done the functional and aesthetic. So she's also done it by having, you know, photos of her in it. Oh, she's so pretty. So she's shown, and look, I decided to add a drawstring feature to the top of the train to make it easy to tie on the skirt. It also allows the train to sit nicely, blah, 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 blah. And so she's kind of like, I guess, reflecting on the final product and the functional aesthetic features. I laid the flags very tightly, closely together, make the train look more dense and aesthetically pleasing. By doing this, see, effect. By doing this, it draws more attention to the need of my design, being that the unity of people from different cultures. So she's, yeah, anyway. And then here we go. Oh, look, more pictures. Oh yeah, I forgot we went down to the water. Anyway, but then, oh, where is it? Here. Then she's still done the same thing. So here's her standard to achieve from aesthetics, and here's her evaluation of it. And here's another aesthetics, and here's her evaluation of it, and here's a function, and here's an evaluation of it. So she's still done the same thing. But hers as well is a bit more, I guess, chunky as opposed to in rows or whatever. So yeah, it's totally up to you how you'd like to do this. I think I'll stop it there. So that's function and aesthetics. I'll do a separate one on 3.3, which is the impact on the individual, society, and the environment. So that'll be next. So I'll do that in a second, just because I feel like this video is getting a little bit long. I hope that helped you understand. So I'll just, quickly remind you. So the first step really is to go back to your 1.4 and to copy and paste all of your standard to achieves that relate to function and aesthetics. Put that on the page. Create a box underneath or something to be the evaluation of that standard. Did I achieve that standard? How did I achieve it? How did I get there? What's my evidence to know I got there? Did I do research? Did I change something? Did I test something? Did something change in my construction? Or am I not happy with it? Was it not as successful as I wanted it to be? And why? So it's totally fine to be honest. All right, I'm going to stop there. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful, and I will be back with a 3.3 instructions. Thanks. Bye, guys.